Hello, everyone, and welcome to Point of Purchase episode 9. Now, I cannot believe that we've done 9 of these things, and if you've been watching us since episode 1 back in July, you're probably feeling the same way because time has just been flying by. My name is Megan Kimmerer, and I'm a Client Success and Communications Manager at Speak Commerce, an e-commerce services agency focused on helping our clients sell more online. Now, I'm usually the one behind the scenes of these POP episodes, but I'm joining you today as host for the very first time, so you're gonna have to be nice to me, okay? We have a really great topic on deck today and an amazing fellow geek speaker who will be joining me to provide some of her own expertise as well. Now, before I bring in that guest, for those of you who may be new here, Point of Purchase, or POP, is a live web series presented by Speak Commerce. In each episode, we'll dive into topics surrounding the retail and e-commerce ecosystems. So everything from industry news to technology, best practices, business strategies, and more. We tap into our own experiences as an e-commerce services provider, and we often bring in outside experiences from other experts within the industry as well. You can catch us live on Facebook and YouTube to join in on the conversation. Our topic for today's episode is From Specs to Sold, how to optimize a product listing for higher sales. And this, of course, is always a hot topic because who doesn't want to make more sales online? Joining me to discuss strategies, tips, tricks, best practices to boost those sales through product listing optimization is my colleague and friend, Katie Robert. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Megan. I'm excited to be joining you on the stage today.
Awesome. I'm excited too. This is going to be fun. So Katie is a client success manager at Speak Commerce, and she has over 8 years of marketing experience and expertise. She's been a part of both in-house and agency teams in both digital and traditional marketing capacities, helping to craft brand identity and build awareness while driving sales. Thank you so much for joining me today, Katie.
Thanks so much for hosting.
Awesome. So before we get started, for those of you who are watching us today, please do drop us a comment, say hello, and let us know where you're watching from. And feel free to add in any questions that you might have for either myself or Katie throughout the show. We'll either pick them up near the end of the chat or we'll reach out individually afterwards to get those answers for you. So to kick things off, Katie, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your marketing background and your role at Speak Commerce?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, I've worked in marketing communications for over 8 years in a really wide range of roles and organizations. I've worked both in-house and in agency positions, and I've, covered a lot of ground in terms of marketing strategy and tactics, but have really been able to dive deep on e-commerce here at Speak. As a client success manager like you, I manage all aspects of my clients' projects from start to finish. So I work with them to build out their vision for what their content is going to look like, and then help bring that vision to life with our amazing team members here at Speak.
Awesome. So obviously you have a ton of experience in crafting content that drives views, sales, customer engagement, and so much more. Before we really get into the meat of our conversation today, let's back up a little bit just to make sure that viewers who are maybe just starting out in the world of e-commerce can really grasp what we're going to be talking about. So starting with the basics, what are some of the channels available for brands and retailers who want to sell online?
So there are quite a few different channels available to brands and retailers when they're considering selling online, and they each kind of have their own benefits and considerations. There are marketplace platforms like Amazon and Etsy, and the benefit of those is that there is an existing audience there searching for products like yours. But the drawbacks are that you're competing with potentially a pretty significant number of other sellers, and also that you have to work within the platform format and restrictions. Another option that gives you more control is direct to consumer, which is a website that you build or get built for you, and it's dedicated to your business and products. They are created through e-commerce platforms like Shopify or plugins like WooCommerce that you can add to your CMS like WordPress, as well as, completely custom built websites created by a web developer. And, those give you a lot of flexibility in terms of functionality. The benefit of direct to consumer is that you're really able to craft and control your buying experience, but the drawbacks are that you need to have a really solid marketing strategy for driving traffic and sales on your website, which can definitely cost money and take time and also really require a level of marketing expertise. These are kind of the main channels for selling online that we'll focus on today, but there are other pathways as well, like Google Shopping, auction sites like eBay, and social commerce, which is growing at an incredible rate right now. And it's basically the process of using social media channels as a way to promote and sell your products.
Awesome. So there are definitely different options available to different sellers depending, on where they want to sell, what perks they're looking for in a channel, some of which you mentioned, and even what their comfort level is in terms of building out that presence, either on a self-built DTC site or on a marketplace like Amazon.
Yeah, and what's great is that there are options for almost any level of expertise or web experience. For example, Shopify is a pretty user-friendly platform for sellers who are newer to web development and design. So you're able to get your own direct-to-consumer site off the ground without a web developer if that's the path that you're following.
Yeah, for sure. And Shopify is, of course, an extremely popular option for that reason, exactly, especially for those sellers who, are just getting started. So
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So within whatever channel a brand is selling on, they'll also have individual product listings that they need to create and optimize. Can you tell us what exactly a product listing is?
Sure. So a product listing or a product display page is a bit of a home base for your product, and it's dedicated to providing all of the information a shopper needs to make a purchase decision, as well as, some form of an add to cart button. It holds product information like size, color, specs, price, and, it really aims to anticipate and then answer questions a shopper may have when considering a product within that category.
So you touched on a couple of pieces there, like cart and price. What are some other components that make up a product listing?
The components of a product listing can really vary by platform and by brand or retailer, but if we're looking at a really robust product listing, we like to see a full image gallery, product title, product description, price, a buy button, shipping information, ideally enhanced marketing content, and a spec chart if needed.
So obviously there's a reason behind creating all of these different pieces of content, from the image gallery to the enhanced marketing content. What's the overall goal of the completed product listing as a whole?
So the overall goals of a product listing are kind of twofold. So one is to drive organic or unpaid traffic to your listing, either through a search engine like Google or through an integrated search function like you would see on a marketplace. And then the second goal is to drive conversions or sales. So you're wanting to make sure that your listing is enriched with relevant search terms to drive buyers to the page, and also complete from a buyer's perspective to allow them to make a confident purchasing decision.
So when you say that the listing is complete, I guess you mean it contains, each of those components that you just spoke about. So all of the information about the product is presented right there on the one page.
Exactly. So all of those components, including, image gallery, title, product descriptions, etc., that's all filled out and available.
Awesome. So we know what the product listing is. We know the components that make it up, and we know that the goal is to drive shoppers to the listing as well as to get them to make that purchase. Let's get into what we actually do to help make that happen. So let's talk about merchandising the product listing. I have a pretty interesting stat here with me. According to Google Manufacturer Center, better product content can increase sales by up to 25%. So that's pretty significant. And at Geek Speak, we like to think about merchandising your product content, much like you would merchandise your products in a physical store. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So similar to when merchandising in store, your goal is to have a really clean and well-organized space. So, everyone has been in the stores that are disorganized and overstocked, and it's really overwhelming, and you end up missing some great stuff because you can't focus. And this can actually result in lower sales, even if you have a larger product selection. In stores, you want to see product cleanly laid out and organized in aisles. You want to see clear and concise product names and branding elements. And as a seller, you also want to ensure that your best-selling or on-trend or seasonal items are front and center. And these tactics provide the best experience for the shopper, but can also boost sales for the business as well. So digitally, we are trying to achieve this as well. We want to make sure that our products are organized into logical groupings within our product dropdown and category lists. We want to make sure that our digital merchandising is clean and consistent, meaning consistent, high quality images, branding that is on point but not overwhelming, and product information that's laid out in a way that's digestible and valuable to the shopper. You also want to make sure that you're moving the shopper's attention to specific products like we would do in store, featuring those top sellers or seasonal items on your homepage or as suggested products.
I love that you said information is laid out in a way that is digestible, because it's so important. We really do stress the need for including all of the information that a shopper might need to know about a product, but it's true, you really don't want to overwhelm them. So being able to take all of that info, really distill it down to something that's more engaging, digestible, valuable, is all super important in helping them to understand the product enough that they're able to actually make that purchase.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a balance of providing the shopper with the information they need without overwhelming them, which can result in lost sales.
Ultimately, I guess the product listing really comes down to what the shopper sees and what they read. So let's start with what they read, the product copywriting. You're a copywriter, I'm a copywriter. Can you talk a bit about what you consider to be the qualities of great copywriting?
So great copywriting typically has a few common elements across product categories and platforms. And these are some of our pillars for content development at GeekSpeak as well. So we want to ensure that the content is unique, that it's engaging, and that it's written for a defined audience. We also want to make sure that it's written in the brand's voice and tone. And finally, that it's optimized for search.
So jumping into those first couple of qualities that you listed there, how can someone ensure that they're presenting a description that is unique and engaging?
So the best way to achieve this is to follow some copywriting best practices, and I can share some of those now. You want to make sure that you're using an active voice, first of all, and that you're speaking directly to the audience using words like you and your, and these really naturally produce a more engaging product description. You also want to make sure that your content is unique, which means that you're not pulling from competitor products or other brands, and that your product descriptions are developed specifically for your brand and products. And then finally, you want to make sure that you're targeting your copy to the audience you're trying to reach. And you're doing this while still being authentic to your brand's voice and tone.
Those are some really excellent points. And it's often a great practice to leverage competitor listings just to see what kind of language they're using, which features they're focusing on above others, and even what their customer reviews are saying, because that might help you craft your own content from a new or different perspective. But you're right, you never want to actually, copy what is said about another brand's products. I think we all learned about plagiarism in elementary school, and that still applies in real life today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it is good practice to be consistently checking your competitors because, you can kind of see where to step up your content game, but you can also use it as an opportunity to kind of identify gaps that can help you stand out in the category.
Definitely. So moving into your point about staying authentic to your brand's voice and tone, what are some strategies for weaving a brand voice and tone into product copy?
So this can be tricky for sure. In order to be able to implement your brand voice, first of all, you need to make sure that you've done a good job defining your voice and tone. A great way to lay a good foundation is to have an internal style guide. So a style guide helps you to have a consistent and reliable source for your brand voice and tone for your team or contributors to reference. And it's something that we really encourage and use here at GeekSpeak because we work with so many different brands. So once you have that set, you can implement your brand voice by infusing that personality into the words you use and how you structure your sentences. There may be certain words or phrases that your brand uses, or even just kind of a certain attitude that you exude through the copy that represents your voice.
Yeah, I definitely 1000% second, the importance of having a style guide. I know with some of our clients, it has made such a huge difference in the ability to really nail down the way we speak to certain products and categories.
Mm-hmm.
And this sort of leads into my next question as well. But I think another really important step in even just defining your brand voice for the very first time is to really and truly understand your audience and the type of language that resonates with them. So with that, why is writing for a defined audience so important?
It's important that your content speaks to the people who are looking for your product because those are your potential buyers. So you want to make sure that every aspect of your listing, as well as your approach for attracting those potential buyers, is geared towards them. So from a practical perspective, you want to start by researching who your target audience is, what they're looking for, what they care about when making purchasing decisions, and finally, how they're looking for it, which is where search engine optimization comes in. And this is key because if you can't bring buyers to your product, then no matter how great your product display page is, you won't have the traffic to convert.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, you could have the best, the most innovative, the most valuable product in the entire world, but if your content isn't matching that level by being engaging, well-written, and searchable, then nobody's going to be able to find it organically.
Exactly. So you need to make sure you're, looking at it from both perspectives and again, finding that balance.
Yeah. So when it comes to optimizing for search, what are some key strategies or SEO tools available to retailers?
So your overall strategy for optimizing for search in your product listings is to, first of all, do the research. So find what words and phrases people are using to find products like yours. Then you need to implement those keywords in the right places and at the right inclusion level. So in terms of research, there are a lot of great, actually free resources that you can use to check search volume and also get other keyword ideas based on your product type or based on a small list of initial keywords that you might already have just from knowing your products. Google Keyword Planner is a great option for Google or search engine-based searches. So it's perfect for gathering ideas and data for your direct-to-consumer website. If you're listing on a marketplace like Amazon, you'll want to use a tool like keywordtool.io to gather that information specifically for that platform that you're using. And this is going to give you the most accurate results possible. From there, you want to include them in your copy. So the title is one of the most important places for keyword inclusion. So we definitely want to prioritize the highest traffic and most relevant keywords in there. And then the feature bullets and product description really provide more space and flexibility to include additional and longer keywords and phrases. It's important when you're including keywords in your content that you're not stuffing the product listings because you can actually get penalized for that, first of all. And it will also ultimately affect the readability and shopper experience. So you need to make sure that you're taking both into account. And then depending on your platform, you may also be able to boost that inclusion even further with backend keywords or metadata, which can be very powerful for search as well.
All right. So taking what you said about ensuring your content is engaging, is unique, follows your brand's authentic voice, and now knowing what we do about search engine optimization, how does all of this work together to turn into traffic and sales?
So all of these pieces come together in what we call the path to purchase. So beginning with keyword research and search engine optimization, we're working to capture those buyers and bring them to our page. Then we have our optimized copy and clean, high quality product images that help to inform the product purchase. And then ideally a simple user-friendly checkout process. This is obviously a simplified version. It's not typically as direct as I laid out. And there are a lot of considerations and digital marketing tactics that go into influencing the path to purchase, but having a robust and curated product detail page is really at the core of the process.
I like that, a robust and curated product detail page. That's a really good way of, putting everything together in the simplest terms possible.
Yeah, as you know, robust is a favorite word here at Geekspeak. It's really, what we're aiming for with every piece of content that we develop. We want to make sure that it's, robust and full.
Yeah, definitely. So before we get on to the next question, I do just want to take a quick pause to remind anybody who's watching that you can drop us a little hello in the comments, let us know you're here, and definitely add in any questions you might have for Katie or myself, and we'll either answer them live at the end of our chat, or we'll take them away and reach out later with our answers. Also, if there's anybody new here who missed the first few minutes of the show, Katie and I are talking all about how to optimize your product listing for higher sales. So lots of really great tangible advice coming through for you if you are an e-commerce seller. So back to Katie, let's move on from what a shopper reads to what they see. So the visuals on your product listing. What are some tips for creating really great product photos in the image gallery?
Images are really important on the product page. It's one of the first things that we look at when we land on one. When you're shopping online, you lose the ability to get an in-person look and feel of the product. And this can be even more challenging with sized items like apparel or more technical products like electronics. So it's critical that you have a solid bank of quality product images for shoppers to look through. We're really aiming to grab the shopper's attention with the images, and similar to an in-store experience, we want our product to stand out next to similar products. For primary product photos, we want the product to be alone on a white background that has been digitally removed, ideally, and we like to see the product featured in a few different angles in this white background style. You want to have a natural lighting look. You want to ensure that the color of your product is accurate and that the entire product is in focus. And you want to remove any blemishes or wrinkles on the product in editing. So overall, you want to make sure that your images are clear, clean, edited, and also high res. So the buyer can zoom in and check out different parts of the product without losing image quality.
Yeah, so making sure that you're leading with that really clean, professional, white background shot that showcases your product with no distractions is super important. Mm-hmm. What about lifestyle images and infographics? Can you touch on these and what their goal might be?
Yeah, so lifestyle images showcase the product in use. So it allows the shopper to visualize themselves using it and provide some inspiration for how or where they would use it. Some examples here would be someone drinking from a water bottle on a hike, or making dinner with a set of cookware, or even, a baby wrapped up in a towel after a bath. Some of these may seem kind of obvious, but as shoppers, we really are such visual people, and seeing the product in use and also to scale really helps influence our purchasing decision. Infographics combine typically a white background or clipped product image with text, icons, or other design elements, and it's a great way for you to deliver key product information in bite-sized pieces that can be easier to absorb compared to a block of text like you would see in the product description. An example here would be something like a speaker or a docking station. And, for this example, you can call out some key specs and features like ports or compatibility or sound quality. And even if your competitors have these same specs, having the information laid out in a digestible way can really give you a leg up. Both of these images are considered to be supplement to the basic product images, but infographics and lifestyle images can take your product page to the next level and help you stand out. And they're honestly really starting to become a bit of an expectation, especially on marketplace platforms like Amazon.
Right. So speaking of taking your product page to the next level, can you touch on 360-degree photography as well and what that can accomplish on a product listing?
For sure. So 360-degree photography allows a shopper to see and interact with the product by seeing every single angle. So particularly right now where we can't go into stores to see and touch a product, it's a great opportunity to get a really good idea of what the product actually looks like without being able to pick it up and see it in person. From, kind of a technical perspective, the way we achieve this is by placing the product on a rotating platform. And then we take shots at every single angle, and the images are edited and stitched together to create sort of an illusion of a 360-degree image. And then the final output would either be a video file or an interactive drag to rotate type of image that you may have seen before on Amazon or other platforms. Conversion rates can actually increase 10 to 40% when they feature a 360-degree image. So it's a really powerful tool for boosting sales and ensuring that the shopper feels really confident in their purchase.
Yeah, a 10 to 40% increase in conversion can be massive, right? And one more thing to note about 360 photography as well is that it's not just limited to, a smaller product you can fit on a turntable. I know one example that we've had in the office is we had like a posture corrector back brace to shoot. And we had a model wearing the brace sitting on a chair that was spinning in order to get that 360 shot. So really anything is possible in terms of the visuals on your listing. You sometimes might have to get a little bit creative with it, but definitely anything is possible.
Yeah, and I think we both know, we've seen an incredible variety of products come through our doors here. So, we're really learning and getting new ideas every day on what products and categories are a great fit for 360.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to other visuals on a product listing, there's also something called enhanced marketing content, which you did touch on very briefly at the beginning of our conversation. Some Amazon sellers may know this as A+ content or an A+ page, for example. What can enhanced marketing content do for a product listing?
Enhanced marketing content on Amazon really goes above and beyond the product listing, and it's been shown to increase conversion between 3 and 10%. So again, it can make a huge impact on your sales. So while a product listing that has been properly optimized for search will drive traffic to your listing, the A+ content really helps sell your product and tell your story as well. The A+ portion of an Amazon listing offers a pretty large amount of real estate on the page and really allows you to bring the product and your brand to life in a way that isn't possible in the standard listing area. There's a pretty wide range of options in terms of how to present your A+ content. It is module based, but you have the option to choose from, entirely custom banners to interactive callouts and even comparison charts that allow you to cross-sell your other products. So you really have the opportunity to make it your own.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's not just limited to Amazon either, which is really great. I know many other marketplaces offer the ability to design or upload similar pages to their product listings. Walmart is one example. Even AliExpress, their listings are very heavily focused on EMC style content. And of course, brands can also design their own graphic one-pagers to live on their direct-to-consumer product listings as well to really enhance that shopping experience for their customers.
Yeah, for sure. And, every day the bar and requirements are being raised, honestly, for the quality and depth of online content, especially on marketplace platforms. So it's something we're constantly staying on top of for our clients and kind of adjusting our strategies and our approach to meet.
Yep. So we discussed a lot today. We'll do a bit of a wrap up for our viewers with some key takeaways, at least the takeaways for me, hopefully for those watching. So number one, find an e-commerce channel that works for you. There are benefits to both marketplace and direct-to-consumer selling on your own website. So make sure you do your own research and see where it makes the most sense for you to sell. Oftentimes, that's a combination of, listing on a marketplace as well as launching your own e-commerce store. Optimization on the product listing really comes down to what a shopper sees. So beautiful product images in the gallery, maybe 360-degree photography to show off every angle of a product to a shopper, and enhanced marketing content to really provide that high quality, highly engaging content that they want to see. Great images have the power really to not only replace the in-store experience that a lot of people are missing right now, but to enhance it even further. And it also really comes down to what the shopper reads. So in terms of optimizing your product copywriting, you need to ensure it's not only well written in a unique and engaging way, but that it's presented in a way that is authentic to your brand's voice and values, and written in a way that truly resonates with your audience. You ultimately want shoppers to feel comfortable and confident that your product is the one for them. And presenting the information about that product in an engaging and digestible way is a really important step towards that goal. So many takeaways, Kate. Yeah. That was awesome. Now, before we do wrap up, we do always like to ask a fun little question to our guests before we go. So knowing all you know about e-commerce and optimizing product listings, what was the last really great product listing you saw that actually led you to purchase that product?
I actually bought some handmade products from a local shop where I live, and they were personally delivered to my doorstep, which is nice after being kind of a bit burnt out with Amazon purchases. It's just a small shop run by local businesswomen, and they are absolutely hitting the mark on keeping a focused and refined product selection, staying true to their brand voice, and keeping their listings beautiful and clean while providing the shopper all of the details that they need in a really focused way. And I love this because it really shows that these best practices and tactics that we talk about, they're not just reserved for big retailers or sellers. They can be equally impactful for smaller businesses as well.
Awesome. I love that. And I love seeing sellers out there who are actually, taking all of these things into account when creating their content, especially, as you said, smaller businesses, because, it really does make a big difference.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you again, everyone, for watching this episode of Point of Purchase. If you are watching the recording later on social media and want to leave us any feedback or ask any additional questions, we will be sure to answer those for you. If you're interested in learning more about Geek Speak Commerce, please do check us out at geekspeakcommerce.com and follow us on social media to keep an eye out for our next episode. Have a great rest of your day and see you next time on Point of Purchase episode 10. Crazy. Bye, Katie.
Thanks, Megan. Bye.